Hi everyone, this is Neetu Sugandh and I'm back with yet another lesson on grammar practice. I'm the author of the book How I Learned to Speak in English. If you want to improve your spoken English or grammar in the easiest possible manner, then do complete the 9 chapters of my book. I also have a YouTube channel called Neetu Sugandh Happy Tua, which is made to spread happiness in the world. I'm a communication trainer and I've spent 10 years in the field of learning and development. If you like my videos, you can follow me on this link and don't forget to rate, review, recommend and share. In fact, I'd suggest that you share it on other social media platforms so that we can help everyone. Okay, so let's begin with our grammar practice exercise. The first question, the pen dash is not in the cupboard. The pen I need, the pen which I need, the pen what I need is totally incorrect. The pen which I needed is also incorrect. So what's the correct answer? The correct answer is the pen I need is not in the cupboard. Now, many people tend to make a common mistake when they say the pen which I need is not in the cupboard. Well, in this case, these are complex sentences and we want to make them as crisp as possible. So that which is not really needed here. So if you simply say the pen I need is not in the cupboard is crisp and correct. The next one. Is this place dash you saw in your dream? Is this place what you saw in your dream? Is this place which you saw in your dream? Is this place that you saw in your dream? Or is this place the one you saw in your dream? And the correct answer is this place the one you saw in your dream? Now, how do I get the correct answer? It comes with practice. The more you read and the more you listen to people who speak in English, you'll understand the usage of certain words. Trust me, that's the best technique to improve English, is that you listen to people who speak well and at the same time you read books in English. The next one, I found dash annoying dash none spoke up against him. I think the answer would be I found it annoying that none spoke up against him. Yes, that's the correct one. I found it annoying that none spoke up against him. Now, when I answer these questions, I do not really look at the options. I first try and complete them in my mind, and then I look at the options. And if the correct answer is one of the options, then I select that. All of this comes with practice. The more you speak in English, the more you read, the more you listen to people, the better and the quicker you will get at solving these questions. Let's look at the next one. This is dash very phone I need. This is the very phone I need. And that's the correct answer. This is the very phone I need because we are referring to a specific phone that the person needs. And that's why we would use the article the. The next one. Dash were very different from the ones made these days. Movies in the 80s, the movies in 80s, movies in 80s, and the movies in the 80s. The correct one is the fourth option. I'll explain why. The movies in the 80s were very different from the ones made these days because we are being specific. So we're talking about the movies in the 80s. So we're being specific about the movies as well as the year, the 80s. If you were generically referring to movies, then you could probably say movies in the 80s. The first one, like in movies in the 80s, were very different from the ones made these days. But here we are being very, very specific. And at the same time, we've got a hint that, there it says the ones made these days. So I took the hint from the second part of the question and I solved it by saying the movies in the 80s were very different from the ones made these days. The next question, I'm assuming he's still in dash bed, but he might just be in dash living room. I think the answer is I'm assuming he's still in bed, but he might just be in the living room. And that's the correct one. So we don't need an article before bed because we're just generically referring to bed by saying that I'm assuming he's still in bed, but he might just be in the living room. We always use the article the with living room. Again, I will not give you a set of 100 rules to solve these questions. The only thing I would suggest is you read more and you listen to people who speak in English fluently and you will be able to solve these questions effectively. At the same time, constantly practice by taking grammar quizzes. I will, for example, I will be releasing a lesson every week. So make sure the more that you practice, and the more you practice, the better you will get at English. I saw a spider on the table. It was black. Is that the correct one? Yes, I saw a spider on the table. It was black. I don't even need to go and refer to these answers when I read a statement, because if you look at the answers and then try to solve them, it's going to confuse you. An easier technique would be that you first solve these questions in your mind and then you look at the options. So here we're talking about, I saw a spider. We're not really referring to a specific spider. So it's going to be a. But it's on the table. On the table, I saw a spider on that table. So we're referring to a specific table. And that's why we use the article the. The next one. Don't bother him with such a problem. Yes, that's the correct one. Because you don't say by a problem, you can't say through such a problem or about such a problem. Don't bother him with such a problem. These are prepositions. And again, the more you read, the better you will get at using them. If you give up right at the beginning, you will not succeed in the end. See how I'm solving them? And that's the correct one. If you give up right at the beginning, you will not succeed in the end. I'm again not even looking at the options, and I know that the correct one is at and in the second one. So, the more you solve them verbally, you will find it easier to fill in the blanks. It was too late. They decided to stay at their friend's house. It was too late, so they decided to stay at their friend's house. Is that the correct one? Yes. So the reason is, it was late, and that's why they decided to stay at their friend's house. So the best word here would be so. Okay, with this, we completed 10 questions very quickly. So the tip for today is that you try and complete the questions verbally first, and then look at the answers. And if you still don't get the correct answer, then you try and match the answers with the question. And the best way to improve English is to read, to listen to people who speak fluently, or maybe watch a movie in which people are speaking fluently. And also think in English. I have another lesson on secrets of an effective speaker where I've highlighted how to think in English. So if you do all of this, you will automatically see an improvement in English. There's no other way. You can learn 110 rules, but unless you practice, it'll be very difficult to improve English. And that's why in my book, I've written the simplest rules and try to give you information which you can grasp quickly. So there are just 9 chapters. Try and complete them and see if it makes any difference to your language. So till I give you the next lesson, I think next week I'll be releasing the next one. Till then, you enjoy yourself, keep learning, and have a great time. Bye-bye.